step away from the vehicle. You don't belong in this zone.
I'm in the legal loading zone. What law am I breaking?
Take a look at yourself. This area is for professionals.
Explain that. What about me says I don't belong here?
Produce ID or I'll detain you for suspicious activity.
Am I being detained or are you just guessing?
Commander Samuel Henderson stood next to his vintage restored SUV in the designated loading zone of the City Hall Plaza on a humid Tuesday afternoon. He had just dropped off his daughter Maya for a prestigious internship interview with the district attorney's office. He told her he would wait right there to ensure she got through security safely. Samuel wore comfortable clothes because it was his first day off in 3 weeks. After 30 years of service starting on the beat and working his way up to the third highest rank in the department, he cherished these quiet moments of being just a dad. He leaned against the hood of his truck, checking emails on his phone, enjoying the brief respite from the bureaucracy of headquarters. He noticed a patrol unit slow down as it turned the corner. The cruiser didn't just drive by. It prowled. It stopped abruptly, blocking the exit path of Samuel's truck. A rookie officer stepped out. He didn't adjust his belt or check his radio. He walked directly toward Samuel with his chest puffed out. Samuel looked up. He knew the uniform standards better than anyone. He had rewritten the dress code manual 5 years ago. But he didn't know this specific officer. The officer was Ryan Baxter, 24 years old, fresh out of the academy with less than 12 months on the street. His uniform was tailored tight. His boots were mirror-shined and his sunglasses were perched on top of his shaved head. He walked up to Samuel with an aggressive stride, stopping just outside personal striking distance, invading Samuel's personal space intentionally. Baxter looked at Samuel, then sneered at the older truck, then looked back at Samuel's face. His expression showed immediate suspicion, as if Samuel had already been convicted of a crime in Baxter's mind. Samuel waited. He remained silent. He was parked in a temporary loading zone, perfectly legal for drop-offs and short waits. He had no reason to speak first. Baxter broke the silence, his voice booming unnecessarily loud. He stated that this plaza was reserved for city employees, lawyers, and judges only, not for loiterers or people hanging out. Samuel glanced around calmly. The curb was painted yellow for loading, not red for prohibited. Other cars were idling further down the line, luxury sedans and sports cars with drivers waiting inside. Professionals in suits walked past, ignoring the interaction. Nobody else was being harassed. Samuel kept his voice steady and low. He said he didn't see any signs prohibiting temporary standing for drop-offs. Baxter's posture stiffened. He didn't like being corrected. He repeated himself, enunciating clearly as if Samuel had trouble understanding English. "This area is for official business, high-level clearance individuals, not the general public. You need to move." Samuel stood up straight, crossing his arms over his chest. He asked a simple question. "How do you know I don't have official business here?" Baxter looked him up and down, his eyes scanning from the hooded sweatshirt to the sweatpants to the running shoes. He let out a scoff. Then he said it. "I mean, take a look at yourself." The words cut through the ambient noise of the city traffic. The security camera microphone picked up the audio perfectly. Samuel stayed quiet for a long beat. He let the insult hang in the air, giving Baxter a chance to walk it back. Baxter did not apologize. He stood there, thumbs hooked in his vest, waiting for Samuel to scramble and obey. Samuel asked Baxter to clarify what he meant by that statement. "Explain it to me. What about my appearance suggests I have no business here?" Baxter rolled his eyes. "It's obvious. You don't look like a lawyer. You don't look like a judge. You don't look like a city official. You don't look like you belong in this jurisdiction at all. You need to move your vehicle to the public garage 3 blocks away immediately." Samuel pointed a finger toward a young man in a t-shirt and ripped jeans leaning against a bright red sports car 20 feet away. The man was vaping and looking at his phone. "Are you going to tell him to move too? He's dressed more casually than I am." Baxter didn't even turn his head to look. "I'm talking to you, not him. Stop deflecting. I'm giving you a lawful order." Samuel asked, "What makes me different from that driver? Is it the car, or is it something else? Type 1 in the comments if you know exactly where this is heading." Baxter stepped closer, violating the tactical safety gap. He was trying to intimidate Samuel physically.
I don't have time for debates or race cards. I am an officer of the law ensuring the security of a government building. You need to either produce a city ID right now or vacate the premises.
Samuel asked what ID would be sufficient. Baxter listed them off with a smug tone. Department of Justice Badge Bar Association card, City Hall credentials. Something that proves you aren't just loitering. Samuel said, I am waiting for a family member to finish an appointment, that is all. Baxter shook his head aggressively. This isn't a pickup spot for random people. It is for secure transport. Move the car or I will move it for you. Samuel asked to see the specific city statute that defined the curb as secure transport only. He knew for a fact that no such statute existed. The curb was public property designated for loading. Baxter scoffed, his face turning red. I don't need to quote the law to a civilian. When an officer gives a lawful order, compliance is mandatory. You are resisting. Samuel remained calm, but his tone dropped an octave, becoming authoritative. I know my rights. I am standing in a legal loading zone. I am not obstructing traffic. I am not committing a crime. Your order is not lawful because it is not based on a violation. Baxter's patience snapped. You are being disorderly. That alone is arrestable. I can write tickets for the parking, detain you for failure to obey, and impound this truck. Do you want to spend the afternoon in a holding cell? Samuel asked. What specific violation? What code are you citing? Baxter shouted now. I don't have to explain the penal code to every guy in a hoodie who wants to argue the violation is unauthorized presence in a secure zone. A woman in gym clothes, leggings, and a tank top walked right past them, unlocked her SUV parked 2 spaces away, and got in. Baxter didn't blink. Samuel pointed this out immediately. She has no badge visible. She is in gym clothes. Why was her presence authorized? Baxter said, I used my discretion. My training allows me to profile high-risk individuals. She didn't look suspicious. Samuel asked the million-dollar question. What about me specifically signals high risk to you? Be specific. Baxter said, your defiance, your refusal to move, your questioning of authority. Samuel countered, my defiance only started after you targeted me. What was the initial trigger? Why did you stop your car for me and no one else? Almost. The conversation was a deadlock. Baxter was losing his temper, fueled by adrenaline and bias. Samuel was terrifyingly calm, fueled by experience and disappointment. Baxter said, if you don't move in 60 seconds, I am calling for a tow truck and backup. Samuel said, I won't move because I am not breaking any laws. Baxter reached for his radio with one hand and pointed at Samuel with the other. Give me your driver's license, now, Samuel asked. Am I being detained? Yes, Baxter spat. For investigation into suspicious activity, provide identification or you will be arrested for obstruction. Samuel stood still, staring deep into the younger man's eyes. I will ask you one last time to explain your comment about taking a look at yourself. Do you want to revise that statement? Baxter laughed a short, nervous laugh. I already explained. You don't look like a professional. You don't look like the caliber of person who works at City Hall. And what does that caliber of person look like? Respectable, Baxter said without hesitation. Suits, ties, people who look like they make decisions, not people who look like you. Samuel gestured to his vehicle. Is it the truck? Baxter dismissed it. The truck is old, but that's not the point. The point is you don't fit the demographic. Do you think Samuel should reveal who he is now, or wait, comment below? Samuel finally nodded slowly. Okay, I will provide my identification. He reached his right hand toward his back pocket. Baxter's hand dropped immediately to his holster, unsnapping the retention strap. It was a reflex action, treating a compliant movement as a threat that Samuel noted with clinical disappointment. Samuel moved slowly and deliberately. I am retrieving my wallet. Relax. He pulled out a slim leather wallet, but instead of pulling out a driver's license, he flipped it open. The afternoon sun caught the reflection of the object inside. It wasn't plastic. It was metal, gold. The badge was intricate, featuring the city seal and the rank of commander. Above it was a department ID card with a photo of Samuel in full dress uniform. Commander Samuel Henderson, badge number 07. Baxter's eyes bulged. His mouth went slack. He stared at the gold shield as if it were a hallucination. In the police hierarchy, a commander was 5 ranks above a patrol officer. Samuel was the man who signed off on the budget for Baxter's precinct. Samuel asked quietly, "Is this credential respectable enough for this plaza officer?" Baxter's aggressive posture collapsed instantly. He took a literal step back, his hand flying away from his gun belt as if it were hot. He started stuttering, trying to find a sentence that could save him. Commander, sir, I didn't..." Samuel closed the wallet with a snap. "Do I still need to move my truck to the public garage? Do I look like I belong now?" Baxter was shaking. "No, sir, absolutely not. I had no idea. I didn't recognize you out of uniform." Samuel stepped forward, reclaiming the space. "What didn't you recognize, the face or the humanity?" Baxter swallowed hard. "I just mean, I didn't know you were command staff. I would have handled it with professional courtesy if I had known." Samuel let the silence stretch, making it painful. "So, professional courtesy is reserved only for command staff, not for citizens. You treat the public one way and your bosses another." Baxter backpedaled so fast he almost tripped. "That's not what I meant. I meant I didn't intend to disrespect a superior officer. I was just trying to keep the area clear." "Clear of whom?" Samuel pressed. Baxter admitted, "I might have been overzealous about the loading zone rules. Maybe I misread the signage." Samuel asked, "Did you harass the man in the red sports car?" "No, sir." "Did you harass the woman in the gym clothes?" "No, sir." "I was the first contact you made." "Yes, sir." "Why?" Baxter had no answer. The trap had snapped shut. He looked at his boots. "You just seemed out of place." "How?" Samuel demanded. Baxter knew he was finished. He mumbled, "It was just a gut feeling. Officer instinct." Samuel informed him, cold as ice. "Gut feelings are for detectives with evidence, not patrol officers judging wardrobes. Officer instinct is based on behavior. What behavior justified this stop?" Baxter admitted, "None, sir. You were just standing there." Samuel pulled out his phone. "Name and badge number." Baxter looked physically ill. He gave the information in a whisper. "Officer Ryan Baxter, badge 4922. Samuel typed it into his notes app. Baxter watched, realizing the gravity of the situation. Baxter tried to apologize, desperation creeping into his voice. "Sir, please. I'm new. I'm just trying to be proactive. I made a mistake. It won't happen again." Samuel shook his head. "Being proactive is catching criminals, Baxter. Being proactive is community engagement. Harassing a father waiting for his daughter is not proactive. It is harassment." "I can fix this," Baxter pleaded. "We can handle this between us, Blue Line." Samuel stared at him. "You think I would let this slide because we wear the same badge? That badge is a symbol of public trust. You just used it as a weapon to bully someone because you didn't like how they looked." "I'm filing a formal conduct report," Samuel said, "and I'm pulling the security tape." Baxter's face went pale. "Sir, please. A report like that, it stays on my jacket forever." "The filing of the report is the warning," Samuel said. "Anything less would be negligence on my part." Baxter asked if there was anything he could do. Samuel said, "You can start by asking yourself why you saw a black man in a hoodie at a government building and assumed he was a threat. Why you threatened arrest. Why you said, 'Take a look at yourself.' Go sit in your car and think about that while you drive back to the precinct." Baxter returned to his cruiser. He looked defeated, like a child who had been scolded, but worse, like a man who saw his future evaporating. Samuel watched him leave, then went back to waiting for his daughter. When Maya came out 10 minutes later, smiling, he hugged her a little tighter than usual. If you are still watching, hit that like button. The next morning, Commander Henderson walked into headquarters in full dress uniform, gold stars on his collar, ribbons on his chest. He bypassed the lower chain of command and went straight to the Director of Internal Affairs. He filed the complaint formally. He cited the exact time and the location of the City Hall Plaza cameras. He noted that the audio would be available. The director pulled the footage immediately. The investigation was swift. They watched the video twice. Every word was audible. Baxter's aggression, his inability to cite a specific law, his explicit bias, and his lie about treating everyone the same were undeniable. The department called Baxter in for a hearing. He tried to argue he was just doing his job, that he was securing the perimeter. But the footage of him ignoring other drivers while targeting Samuel destroyed his defense. His history was pulled. 2 previous informal complaints for similar behavior were found situations where he had escalated minor contacts with minority citizens. He had a pattern. 3 weeks later, the disciplinary hearing concluded. Officer Ryan Baxter was terminated for conduct unbecoming and officer discriminatory policing and abuse of authority. The department released a statement emphasizing zero tolerance for bias. Baxter tried to appeal through the union, but the video evidence was too damning. No other department would hire him. Commander Samuel Henderson continued his service for another 5 years, eventually retiring as a beloved chief of police. He never sought fame for the incident, but he ensured the training manuals were rewritten. He made sure that the video of that interaction was used as a mandatory case study for all new recruits at the academy. Moral of the story: true authority isn't about the uniform you wear or the power you hold over others. It's about the integrity of your actions when you think no one is watching. Respect is a basic human right, not a privilege reserved for those who look important or wealthy. Never judge a person by their cover, because you never know who you are actually talking to, and your bias can cost you everything.